going on, Wolfpack Nation? Thank you all so much for tuning back in here. So again, we got exciting episodes today. We got former NC State pitcher Reid Johnston with us. Again, I think all of us, are sad to that he won't be wearing the red and white this year. But again, I think we all can easily say that we're definitely supporting you all the way, Reid, and as you take your next step in your professional baseball career, man. And definitely thank you for all you do, man. But thank you so much for joining us today, first of all.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Glad y'all could have me on, and I'm looking forward to talking to y'all about, NC State and anything else.
Yeah. I love it, man. Well, so first of all, again, one of the things we always love to do whenever we talk with former players is kind of, just kind of ask them, just kind of give a little bit of updates. Obviously, I know you got drafted, this past year, and just kind of, what have you been up to since then, and since you left in state, and kind of what are you up to right now, kind of deal.
Yeah, so I got drafted by the Indians or the Guardians now in July. I was out at Goodyear,
Hmm.
Arizona. That's where their spring training facility is, all season facility. So I was there for 3.5 months, 4 months. Came home end of October, and I've just kind of been training at home, kind of at my local high school. I can go use their weight room there, use their facilities. Been throwing there. Basically, I do everything there. Just kind of bounce back in between home and there. And right now I'm just kind of getting geared up for spring training. Throwing, working out basically every day, and going to be here for another month or so. But just getting ready for spring training, and I'll be gone early March. So it's basically what I've been doing for the last 3 or 4 months since
Hmm.
the draft and since I've been home.
Gotcha. And obviously, again, so for those state fans who don't know, again, getting drafted in the 19th, you got drafted in the 19th round by the Cleveland Indians, again now Cleveland Guardians, and
Yeah.
what was your reaction like when you received the news that you were drafted by Cleveland at that point?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I was excited. It's been my lifelong dream, as a baseball player to play professionally, but it was hard, because I spent, 4 years at state, the best 4 years of my life. I mean, just the relationships, friends that I made, the experiences I had, it was definitely a tough decision to move on from NC State. Not a decision that was easy to make at all, but you know, growing up, you have a dream to play professional baseball to make it to the major leagues, and I felt like where I was at, it was time for that to happen. So ultimately, I made the decision, in my career at state, and start a professional career.
Hmm. Yeah, and let me ask you this too, Reed. I know we'll kind of talk a little bit about this topic, obviously, because it was such a big thing that happened this past season. That I, I would say in the grand scheme of things, I'm sure that I mean, you would say that even though it didn't go down as any state fan would have loved it to, that I mean, obviously, I know that you wouldn't have traded for the world, and at the end of the day, I mean, the impact it made on not only our university but just. I mean, just the team in general, was amazing. But
Yeah,
obviously, one of the things kind of that I kind of when that situation happened, the first thing that kind of came to my mind is, oh, I mean, these guys, I mean, they're coming back next year and they're going to be like looking to take some names and crush some skulls. I mean, just absolutely going out there to try and just get back there and win it all this time, and be like, and just get back to it. So, but obviously seeing like guys
yeah,
like yourself and like even like the Terrell Tatum's, go, um, you know, how much of that kind of thought went through your head? Because again, I mean, I know it it definitely has a little bit more beef to it, to the possibilities of coming back, because there was that opportunity that was left on the table, and but that you had no control over. But I mean, it's I mean, I'm
yeah.
sure that had to go through your head when you were considering whether to go pro or stay, for sure.
No, 100%. I mean, that honestly, that was one of the biggest factors. Was I had obviously had a good career here, but I didn't think it was going to end like that. And I knew that we still had something left to prove. And it was kind of that last day of the draft. Those four or five of us that got picked up. There was talks between us about you know we might come back. And I know on the day of the draft, or the day I got picked, that third day, I talked to Terrell, Devontae, Johnny. I mean, basically everybody that was left to get picked that day. And and there was definitely talks about, us coming back because we knew we still had one good team and that we had a lot left to prove. And that, I mean, it's a tough decision because, you want to come back and play for state and make it back to the World Series. But, in the end, you know that you came to state to develop as a baseball player to make it to the next level. So it wasn't an easy decision at all for any of us. I mean, I know that, all those guys, we were texting that whole day, we need to come back. We should come back. But, at the end of the day, you got to make the decision that's best for you. And I think that's kind of what we all did.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, what was one of your hardest or biggest transitions from college to the minor league level right now?
I mean, for me, it was just kind of building those new relationships, with the new coaches and the new, teammates that I had to interact with. Because I mean, I had basically the same coaches for 4 years. I was sharing the same locker room with basically the same guys. I mean, a new class would come in, but it's just building those new relationships because it's so important in this game is the relationships that you build with your coaches, with your teammates, and then getting sent to Arizona with 20 other guys I've never met, 6, 7 coaches I've never met. You have to kind of build that relationship back, and that was probably the toughest thing at first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And because one of the things too, Reid, as well, that I wanted to kind of ask about as well is, obviously getting drafted, is a great opportunity no matter where you do get drafted for sure. But I think definitely, any state fan who watched you pitch knew, the talent and the possibilities that you had, as a baseball player. And so, I mean, do you was part of it as well? Because I mean, especially getting the draft in the 19th round, I think every state fan says, I mean, there's no doubt you had the potential to be drafted higher, but I mean, did you kind of feel that, just kind of balancing out that maybe that because you did have such a great season in 2021 that maybe you kind of said to yourself, I mean, I don't know how I could do that much better by, or increasing draft stock wise by coming back another year as well?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's another thing too. I kind of had some leverage this year since it was technically my senior year, but I was kind of a COVID junior, so they call it. So I still had that leverage to come back next year. So I use that a little bit in kind of the whole draft process. But I think as far as my draft stock, I mean, I did obviously have a good year. I maybe could have gone out this coming up year if I would have come back and had a better year and got picked higher. But I just felt it was the right time. I mean, as hard as it was, I knew that if I was going to make a shot, it had to be now, regardless of if my draft stock would have, shot through the roof. I just figured now was the time to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely talking a little bit about your stats as well. So, obviously you were one of the most consistent pitchers on the team that last year, going at least 6 innings in 11 of your 12 starts. You led the team with 96 strikeouts on 96.2 innings pitched, and compiled a 4.47 ERA with a 9-3 record. And actually, too, you actually finished 11th all time in state in career wins with a 22-7 record. So, again, so meaning that pretty much most of 75% of the time when you stepped on the mound that we were going to win that game. I mean, that's huge for sure. That says a lot for sure. So yeah, I mean, I definitely would agree that, again, it's just it's kind of one of those things that goes through every state fan's head, is that there's no doubt that having you back would help the team, having that experienced pitcher that, again, is consistent but also too super talented and super experienced. But also too, on the other side, just like you said, we want you to do what's best for you at the end of the day as well. And I mean, and that goes for not only what players decide for the pros, but also too, even when in the recruiting phase as well. Again, it just kind of bugs me from time to time when fans may get too upset by like a player decommitting or something like that, or choosing elsewhere. It's like, at the end of the day, I mean, these are 18 to 24-year-old kids or young men that are trying to make the decision that's best for themselves, and you got to respect that. It's a
Yeah,
process. And at the end of the day, I mean,
yeah.
at the
I
end
mean,
of the day, it's always a gamble too. Life is a gamble. Go ahead, Reed.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's 100% a gamble, but I mean, I think you just kind of go with whatever your heart's telling you, what your gut's telling you, and I like I said, I love school
Yeah.
to death, but my heart was telling me it's time, and
Mhm.
it was time. So
Yeah.
I wish them the best. I know they're in good hands. They
Yeah.
have a great team now, great coaches. So I think they'll pick up right where they left off.
Yeah. Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need. Offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to kind of touch on as well is, obviously during your time at NC State, you've been through, 4 years again, have been through, many exciting games, many exciting matchups and things like that. But what would you, if you had to have an opportunity to tell State fans what you want your legacy to be from your time at NC State, what would you kind of say? What would you kind of say to that?
Um, I mean, I'd just like to say that I want them to know that that I gave everything I had. I mean, I came in as a kid that's never pitched before, so I had to work my butt off to become the pitcher that I was, and that didn't come easy, but that says a lot about the coaches and the player development that we have at State, and none of that process was easy, but not just speaking for myself, but speaking for all of our other teammates. We all give everything we have to represent NC State to the best we can, and that's something that we strive for every day. That's something that I personally strove for every day, was to just leave it all out there and represent NC State as best as we could, and that's something that I hope that I accomplish. I think I accomplished that. I don't know what it looks like from an outsider standpoint, but personally, I think that I was able to accomplish that.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things too, obviously from your days of being recruited as well. Again, I mean, one of the guys that I think has been talked a lot about, and again, we've done interviews at this point with Brian Brown and Sam and Chris Villeman, all those guys, and we talk about with all of them. But because again, I truly do think that he should be talked about more. And by golly, I want to hear from every single one of you, your experiences with this man that NC State is definitely very lucky to have, and that's Coach Elliott Avent. I think that pretty much this season solidified that he is a guy that all State fans should appreciate, love, and just truly take it all in, because I mean there's only a few other, well, there's only a few main other names that you can think of that are synonymous with how much they did for NC State, how much they love NC State, like the K Yals, the Jimmy V's. But and I would definitely put him up there, and so if you wouldn't mind, Reed, just kind of talk a little bit about your thoughts of Coach Avent, and maybe even as well, maybe like a favorite Coach Avent story as well after that as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we could do a whole 2 episodes with just Coach Avent and what he means to the school and the baseball program. I mean, that guy's one of a kind. He's a special guy, and what he does for us players and for the university is just unheard of. I mean, I don't think that many people know like how much he does for the school, for the program, for us, and I think he loves that school more than anybody, and that has any affiliation with the school. And it's just, I mean, he'd show up to practice, 30 minutes late wearing a suit and tie because he was, meeting with somebody trying to raise money for the field, or talking to somebody about, something that we could get for the dope to make it better. I mean, he lives and breathes NC State and NC State baseball, and it's incredible, what he does, and how good of a coach he is, and the program that he kind of developed over his 25, 26 years there. I mean, it's remarkable, and I'm glad we made it back to Omaha for him this year. I know that he needs, that guy deserves a national championship, and I wish it was this year, but I don't know how much longer he's going to be coaching. I hope he stays there forever, but I think if there's anybody in the country that deserves a national championship, it's that guy for sure.
I love it. I love it.
Reid, I'm sure you have tons. I know I got a bunch from when I was there, but you got any funny Coach Avent stories?
Yeah. I mean, every day with him at the field was just, I don't know anything specifically. I mean, that guy he can make anybody laugh. I mean, he just, the stuff he did that you just think nobody only that guy would do that. I mean, just, just listen to him tell stories. We'll walk in the locker room for a 10-minute meeting, and it turns into an hour and a half meeting because he got to tell a story about this or about that. That's some things that I'll miss about him, is just listening to him tell stories, because he had a knack for just keeping you entertained, and that's just who he is.
Yeah, I love it. And because I wanted to make sure too, to kind of talk a little bit about it as well, and because again, there's no doubt that Coach Abe is one of the greats, but I think he's also a guy too that is fully invested in the idea that not only does he want to bring you to NC State to be successful, but to be successful in life, and so wanted to kind of touch a little bit about obviously as you're kind of looking towards the next level, obviously with spring training coming up here in the next while. What's your mindset heading into spring training? I mean, what kind of things have you been working on the off season? And just what's your mindset heading in? Obviously, the easy answer is obviously you want to make the team. There's no doubt. But what's your mentality, and kind of how excited are you, to be able to finally start and see where things go. It's at the end of the day, it's a pleasure to play the game you love for money, right?
Yeah. Obviously I'm excited, but I'm going to head into this first spring training with kind of an open mind. I've spent 4 years at spring college practice, but I don't think that compares to professional spring training. So I've heard all about it. I don't know what to expect, but I'm just going to be me, and kind of do what I've done my whole career, and just be thankful for any opportunity I get, and just outwork everybody. I think there's I'm looking forward to spring training. Obviously I don't know what to expect, but just going into it with an open mindset.
Absolutely. And is there anything in particular that you've looked to add to your game at all, or is it just more developing a certain pitch, something like that?
Yeah, it's just more development. When I was out there in Arizona for those 3 months after the draft, we did a lot of stuff with videos and hooking you up to all these monitors, and trying to see how your body moves, and that correlates to new pitches. So I was kind of learning some new stuff with my slider, and kind of learning how my body moves, and that's stuff that I've transitioned into my off-season training to kind of see, if I can develop the things that I learned out there, because I had a good skill set going out there, but they kind of broke it down to the very basics, and gave you stuff to work on, and just trying to work on the stuff that they recommended for me, because those are my coaches now. So that's who I have to put my faith in, and listen to them, and try to get better.
Absolutely. Again, it's an exciting start. Again, it's an exciting venture. Obviously, getting started with your pro career, but thinking too, obviously, because remind me, Reed, too, and I tried to look for it as well, but what did you major in when you were at State?
Sport management.
Okay. So what was kind of the thought or the mindset with that, picking sports management, like in terms of life after baseball? What would be like the perfect career if if you didn't have a career in professional baseball, as a player per se?
Yeah. Um, that's a tough question. I mean, I went into school and trying to get an agriculture degree, and I quickly got out of that. Thought that's kind of what I wanted to do, but it wasn't. So, I picked the next thing that was closest to me, and that was
Mhm.
sports. So that's why I ended up going with sport management. I don't know where I want to take that. Um, I'm just I'm glad that I'm 99% done with my degree. So, when I'm done playing ball, I can get that piece of paper. And if, I go the sports route or anything with sport management, then, I'll be happy with it. Kind of optimistic about what I want to do, but, now I'm playing baseball, I'm going to, focus on that. And then the day I hang my cleats up, I'll worry
Yep.
about, the next step.
I love it. Love
It,
it.
it's something you never want to look forward to. So you gotta take each day one day at a time and try and get on that Sunday night ESPN baseball game.
That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly. I enjoy my free time, so as long as I can play baseball and have a 4 month off season, I'm gonna do that as long as I can.
Hey, I mean, every state fan would love to hear, on a Sunday night ESPN baseball game here. And now Reid Johnston is pitching to Trey Turner, and tomorrow night Carlos Rodon is starting. Like
Yeah,
every state fan would love to hear that. So,
yeah.
but anyway, so thank you so thank you all so much again for tuning in here for part one again, where we kind of talked a little bit with Reid about obviously his journey of starting here with his pro baseball career. But again, make sure to tune in for part two here, as we actually will actually start to talk about this upcoming year's team, and also just talking about the Doak Field upgrades as well. So make sure to tune in with us then, and make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. Give us a like, and also to follow us at Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter and Instagram. But thank you all so much. Go Pack.